All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we have been talking about integers. We know that we have positive and negative integers. We have the right side of the number line, which is the positive side, and then we have the left side of the number line, which is the negative side, and they all come together at 0. Good job. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be combining integers, okay? And y'all remember that the blue is the positive and the red is the negative. Good job. So what we're going to be doing on your paper, the first thing I want you to do is make your paper look like mine. All right? So I'm going to give you a few minutes to make your paper look like mine. Go ahead and have the sub is going to go ahead and pause this so that y'all can make yours look like mine. Okay? So everybody's paper should now look like this. You got the prompt, the tile representation, and then the value, right? So the first thing you're going to do, you should have your red and blue tiles now. So the first thing I want you to do is take out 5 positive tiles. All right? So what's that going to look like? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? So everybody should have 5 tiles on their table right now. Okay? Everybody have that? Good job. So, what that's going to look like on a piece of paper right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Right? You got 5 blue tiles. Should have it in front of you. So, those 5 tiles are positive, right? So, the value of this is positive 5, right? Or positive 5, or just a plain 5, right? So now what I want you to do is add 4 more positive tiles. Okay? So, so now what you should have sitting on your table is, I thought I heard somebody say it, 9 tiles. So I got my first 5, and then I added 4 more, right? So what is the value I have now? Good job. Positive 9. Which can be written like this, or just a regular 9, right? Okay. You should still have your tiles sitting there. Next thing I want you to do is take away 6 positive tiles. Okay, so I got my 9 sitting here, right? Okay. So when I take away 6 of them, what do I have left? Good job. 3. So, what kind of 3? Good job. Positive 3. Alright. Now, does everybody see how that's working? I've added some positive tiles, taken away some positive tiles, and I still have positive numbers though, right? Oh.
Thank you.
Alright, so now what I want you to do, the opposite of 3 positive tiles. Okay, so I got my 3 sitting here. That's what you should still have. But now what should happen is these tiles need to go away, and you need to have 3 red tiles, right? Because the red means negative. Good job. So, okay. So how do I say this? What's the value? -3 or -3. Okay? That's how I write -3. Okay? So I got my 3 tiles here, right? Now I'm going to take away 2 negative tiles. So when I do that, what do I have left? Good job. 1 negative tile. Okay, so how do I say this? -1, and I write it -1. Alright. Everybody trying to get the hang of this? Starting to get the hang of it? Alright. So I still got this 1 tile, right? Now I want you to add 3 negative tiles. Okay?
You heard anything else?
So we have our 3, we had the 1, and we're going to add our 3 negative tiles. So now, I've got the 1, and then we're going to add 3 more. So now what is my value? Good job. -4
You on the phone?
or -4. Alright, so let's look at something else, okay? So when we put positive numbers together, we're kind of just adding them up, right? And then it looks like we do the same thing with negative numbers, as long as the sign is still the same, right? So if I'm taking away the same sign or adding the same sign, we're going to have the same sign, right? Alright, so let's look at, so flip to the other side of your paper. Alright, again, we're going to do the prompt, the tile representation, and then the value. Okay. So if you've run out of room over here on the right hand side, move over to that left hand side. But I want you to have all this on the same twofold. Alright? Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to make 4 sets of 0 pairs. Alright, so we've done this once already, kind of at our tables, but we didn't make any notes, right? So when we have a negative and a positive together, that makes what? Good job, 0. So if I'm going from -1 to -1, from +1 back -1, then I'm still going to land on 0, right? So this blue and red make a 0 pair. Alright? So, what I have here, and what you should have in front of you, is 4 blues and 4 reds, right? Because when I'm looking at a number line, this right here is going to get me to 0, right? When I'm jumping on the number line. So, what's this going to look like? 4 positives and 4 negatives. Good job. Okay? And what's the value? 0. Good job. Okay? So now what I want you to do, we still have these 4, right? Now what I want you to do is take away two negative tiles. So we still got those same 4 reds, 4 blues, and I want you to take away 2 of the negative ones. Alright? Now, do I still have some 0 pairs? You're right, I still do. So these both equal 0, right? Alright. But what do I have? I have 2 positive tiles. So, then our value, so I've got my 4 positives, and then I took away 2 negatives, right? So these have canceled each other out and made 0. Good job. So what is my value? Positive 2. Or positive 2, or just our plain little 2 sitting there by himself, right? So when you're looking at these, not all of these have an opposite pair anymore, right? So they don't make 0, so I still have 2 positive tiles left. Okay? Now, so go ahead and move all your tiles. Our next prompt. The opposite of 2 positive tiles. So what would be the opposite of 2 positive tiles? Good job, 2 red tiles. Okay? So I have a negative and a negative. So what is this? Negative 2. Or negative 2. Alright? Okay. Now what I want you to do So now what we're going to do is we are going to take away 3 positive tiles. Now you may be saying, I don't have any positive tiles, Miss Hahn. How am I going to take away 3 positive tiles? Now, we just learned that I can make sets of 0, right? So what can I add to my 2 positive tiles that would still give me negative 2? Well, think about it. I've got 2 negative tiles, and I got to take away 3 positive tiles, right? So can I add a 0 pair? I can add a 0 pair, right? Because am I changing? Am I changing the value of this negative 2 here? Am I changing that value? Has that value changed at all with these tiles that are sitting on our paper? No, it hasn't, right? So now, can I take away positive tiles? I can, right? Okay? So now I can take away these positive tiles, and they're gone, right? And what am I left with? 3 negative tiles, right? So, what do I have here? Negative 5. Or negative 5. Okay? So how am I going to write this? I've got my 2 negative tiles, right? And then I add a 0 pair, right? Okay, so these are my zeros, and then I take these away. So what do I have left? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. Now, I've got these 5 negative tiles here, right? Well, oops. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, I want to add 8 positive tiles. Can I do that? I can, right? So I'm going to add these. So I got my 5, right? 5 negatives, but I'm going to add 8. 5, 6, 7, and 8, right? Now what do you notice? What do you notice sitting in front of you? Because these should be in front of you too, so that you can see the correlation. Alright? So what happens? I heard somebody say it. I got some 0 pairs here, don't I? So these now all equal 0, so what am I left with? A positive 3. Good job. So, positive 3, or positive 3, or just a plain 3, right? So then I got to add these positives, right? Okay, and these all equal 0. Good job. Alright. So, now I'm left with 3 positive tiles, right? Got those 3 tiles. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take away 1 negative tile. Okay, so I got the 3, right? Now, do I have a negative? I don't yet, but I can make a 0 pair just like we did up here, right? So I have my 3, and I can make a negative pair, right? I mean a 0 pair, rather. So now do I have a negative tile to take away? Good job, I do. So now what am I left with? Good job, positive 4. Okay, so I've got my 3 tiles. Now again, I don't have my negative, so I got to give myself a 0 pair. And now I can take away a negative. Kind of like regrouping, right? Now I can take away my negative, and I have 4 positive tiles. Okay? One last one. Alright. So, now I want to add 4 negative tiles. So again, I got my 4 positives, and I'm going to add 4 negatives. Oh, I heard somebody say it. I knew y'all would get it. So, now what do I have? I have nothing, right? Because they all make 0, right? So I'm now back to the 4 sets of 0 pairs. Good job. So, and then we have the negative. Oops. So now these all make 0. Good job. I thought y'all would get this. So, let's go back up to our 0 pair that y'all wrote earlier. Okay. So what is a 0 pair? A 0 pair is formed by one negative integer and one positive integer okay. So we've been using plus and minus signs, right? We also can have a blank one and a full one, okay? And then another example that we have here is a star, and then we color in the star, right? Okay? So all of these. So another word for this is opposites. Good job. So when we combine integers, we're going to look for the zero pairs that we can make. Is one way we're going to do it. Okay? And then you also noticed here that when I have positives together, then it's all going to be just like I'm working with regular numbers, right? And if you notice down here on the negatives, we did the same thing, right? As long as these are the same, then the work is fairly easy, right? Just putting them together and taking them apart, as long as they're the same. But then when I get over here to putting these positives and these negatives together, I got to make those zero pairs so that I can figure out what I've got left, right? All right. Well, good job, and I'm going to leave it on these 2 pages for just a minute. So in case somebody still needs to copy this stuff down. Okay. So there's page 1. And then we have page 2. Okay. So make sure you have all that written down, and I will see you later.